Yang does have to be a little careful. But I guess every time he has the borrowed time up, he feels very confident, right? He can go over here. If there is going to be support rotations and backup coming the way of Ame, it's only going to open up the other two lanes for Vici Gaming to get that pressure and keep that pace up.
Yeah, they're just trying to, Vici's just mostly trying to play fast and put the pressure up, like we were saying. Like PSG.LGD, they want to play the farm game much more so in this one. We even see Somnus, like we saw Chris Luck doing actually on Infamous. He's just farming Ancients as the Kunkka right now with his Tidebringer. He stacked them up a couple times, so did his team. So he's going to be able to clear those out at an okay pace.
Yeah, aiming for the double bracer Radiance this game. We've seen a few Kunkkas go for the double bracer halberd. Is there a reason why this game sort of fits this build better?
I think actually, trying to think of a good reason for it. I mean, it's good versus the Wraith King, right? He just has the evasion. It's always going to be nice versus the skeletons and everything too, and it gives him a big scaling potential. I think that's what he wants, because I did see the halberd builds. They kind of fell off, right? The Kunkka builds, it was like, you know, you can understand why they went for it, but and I do like the build overall, but I think Somnus is more of a player where he wants to be like, I'm going to scale very hard into the late stage of the game, and this is going to ensure that I'm going to farm that.
And I guess as well, we see sort of the halberd build in games where the Kunkka has a carry that's obviously building the Radiance, and this time that's not going to be the case. Terrorblade Radiance is not quite the meta build. Even though you really like it. Even though it's... do it in your pubs, kids.
Don't do it. Mid lane. DY is already in position there if they get 0-2 over progressive with the Chaotic Offering ready. Pretty significant steal actually by FY. This gives him a pushing tool now on PSG.LGD if he's able to set up and go for the other side lanes with this Diabolic Edict. Because besides that, their push was pretty limited. And we see, like we were saying, Vici, they want to keep running at these towers, bring the fight to PSG.LGD, set the tempo, set the pace, allow Paparazzi to farm.
They really are. They're hitting all their goals so far, Vici Gaming. Everything going to plan. They're sort of ticking off the checklist of what they hope to accomplish in this early game.
Yeah, Paparazzi, it's 11 minutes, phase Midas, pretty decent timing for himself down bottom. He actually was not pressured too much by this Centaur Rubik lane, which a lot of times is able to set up for a lot of kills versus most dual lanes. But yeah, that Warlock really allows Paparazzi to get this farm. Rotations now coming in. I saw they were focusing on giving X-Nova some of that XP mid for a while. They really want to have this finger online. It's going to give them that extra burst damage to bring down the Lesh, maybe bring down the Wraith King in some of these situations. We see also the 2 points in the Mana Drain. So we're probably going to see Mana Drain be pretty relevant in this game because he's playing versus the Wraith King. So he definitely can set up for some times to maybe even bring down Paparazzi without getting his ult popped.
Mid lane Somnus, just going to 5-fade, stepping forward, sets up for a sweet little kill there off the back of the creep Tidebringer hit.
That's a pretty sizable run. 500 XP.
I mean, hey, it's the first kill that LGD's found this game.
Very true.
And with that lead and the gold they're getting from the towers, those little kills, those supports, they're not, they're worth a pretty penny early on.
Any type of free kill PSG.LGD can get with this type of lineup, right? They want to farm. They want Terrorblade to just get the farm on. So those are great for them.
And it's only going to boost up that Radiance goal. Well, 2,400 at the moment. Somnus on his road to the Relic.
Yep. Or he's making the moves and running around the map more so because he's a Leshrac. Well, Somnus is he's just jungling. He's just like, okay, I'm going to play the efficiency game. I'm a Kunkka. I farm fast. And he's gonna have a very good timing on this one already if he does not die again.
It's looking pretty quick. I mean, the chances of him dying up, I feel they're pretty low. He's not an easy kill walking around with those braces as long as he gets the boat off.
Yeah. Or if he has any backup. If he has anybody to stop the chain stun of pretty much the tackles is the biggest one that they do have on Vici. They have other stuns, but that's the big one that will be enough lockdown for him to not get the rum off. So Vici, they've got Serpent Wards available again. Immediately they smoke up. They want to look to put the pressure on. In particular, also get some wards down. Right now, their vision is pretty much only the one down bottom, so they don't have any information of where Ame is farming. So we see them, they're walking in, kind of scout out the jungle, put down some vision, even some sneaky one. You see the tree cut there by DY, puts it up on that high ground. So not the most expected ward.
No, it's almost as if, Ame, he's ready for these sort of moves. He knows that with that tier 1 tower going down very early on, that top area of the map, it's not very safe for the TB. He's sort of sticking to the triangle, was able to get another stack going on the Ancients.
Yeah, they circled the whole area. You just see X-Nova, he just circled his entire jungle.
That area is dangerous.
Don't come here. Yeah,
yeah, they've got to be careful.
Yeah, stick with Somnus. Even though Somnus is taking your Ancients right now, you can stick with him, soak that XP for a little bit, and just play on the right side of the map mostly.
Yeah, balance out the farm between the mid lane and the bottom lane.
Yeah.
As they continue to get pushed in. And he's now sort of gingerly stepping over back into his jungle. just say, all going to be underneath that warp vision.
Both of them, yeah. The second ward also will be able to spot out the illusions as Xnova, he's actually setting up with a wraparound here onto Ori, but there's backup. Yang's already prepared for this.
More of LGD moving over to this half. This is sort of the time where Ame can afford to farm up here. If he's going to go up there, he cannot do it alone. They have to bring him back up, make sure that they've got presence in the neighborhood. So even in these situations where Vici came in, they do have the vision. They're not going to be able to make any aggressive plays off the Terrorblade. He's got his friends around him.
Yeah, they're doing that. So like, we used to see it a lot. Like the smoke rotation through your own jungle, just clear out the wards and protect yourself. They're bringing 2 sentries to try to look for these. Ame.
He needs help. It is kind of close. Is it close enough? There with the Stampede, they'll get out. And then there with the turnaround, Ame pops the Sunder, Metamorphosis out as well. He wants to fight. Question is if Somnus can get a grab. But he has got that maxed out X-Mark. Got the cast range. Is he going to be able to get close enough? He will. He'll grab Yang. Yang's a bit of a tricky one. Does have borrowed time, so not really a quick and easy kill, as Yang will be able to easily walk this one off. They don't find the kill, but they are at least able to push the wave round, get some damage onto that tier 1 top. Back towards mid, Ori, set up onto Chalice. Chalice, of course, already using that Stampede to allow the rest of the team to help Ame top. Doesn't matter, FY's in. Telekinesis, and a stolen stun thrown out the way of Ori will keep Chalice safe.
Immediately, Vici, they're going to respond. They see the aggression happening top. They lose their tier 1 top tower, but they want to make their own move. But the glyph is popped, and these wards are going to get cleaned up, but they should be able to get a little bit of damage here on these towers. Fade's actually just hitting Somnus with them, so not going to get too much damage on the tower here at all, actually. Somnus will be able to clean these up. More gold. Big movement for PSG.LGD there, clearing out their jungle, getting that opportunity top. And any type of tower early in this game, it's very significant for them. As Radiance is pretty much done.
It's a very quick one. It's a fast timing from Somnus.
Xnova was not able to find... Okay, he actually only used one of the sentries on the... Actually, no, he's just holding on to them. So he didn't even look for the wards that were placed inside their jungle. So that tells me they don't want to be playing on that side. That was just a quick sweep through earlier to make sure and guarantee that Ame could get that farm. And then now they're going to play on the bottom side again.
So you say if you like the... What
that sentry ward bottom, it's just shy of catching the ward of Vici. So Vici is going to be aware of this movement down here.
Oh, that's true.
It was just right next to it. That's a very clever ward there by Vici. We've seen a couple of teams.
Yeah, LGD unlikely to find anything big in terms of kills, but the least if they can start to push onto that tier 1 tower. The 4 heroes down here looking.
Both of the sentries are literally right on the edge of catching that ops ward down bottom from Vici.
If you're looking for Radiant's bottom tower, better hurry.
There we go.
That one right there. There we go. Now we see it.
Spots on point from Vici.
It's such a nice ward there. It's going to catch out all that rotation that we were saying for PSG.LGD. They will lose their tower, but they know immediately because they saw the rotation coming, they can do this up top. They can put the pressure on the tier 2 tower themselves.
And so are we liking the Grieve from Yang this game? He's got the Midas running.
Oh, he went for the Midas as well. Okay, cool. I think he wants to be able to scale super hard into the late game too. They look at the PSG.LGD draft and they're like, yeah, you know what? Both of us can go into the late game and probably be able to take it, either one of us, depending on how the fights go. So he wants to also be super farmed in this game too.
That is pretty crazy, right?
That is very
1k
high.
lead, sure, I guess, as you always tell me, Dota Plus, it really favors taking towers. Yes, they did take a tier 2 top, but 73% probability that this match goes the way of Vici Gaming. It feels like it's hard to call, right? We are 17 minutes in. It's only 4-1. There's not that much of a net worth difference. Sure, I guess losing the tier 2 top sucks, but does it suck that much?
I wonder which hero it also really likes on the side of Vici. I know it likes Breaking a lot. Does it like Abaddon? It might like Abaddon and Leshrac also a lot, so...
Maybe it just likes Midases.
Maybe it just likes Midases. His bottom, Paparazzi, trying to bring him down. He has mana. They will just use the finger to pop the ulti, but it was a level 2 ulti. So it's only that 2-minute instead of the really long cooldown of like the 3+. Look at that efficiency. Very nice. 98%. Grant would be very happy. So Radiance is both about to be online, right? Paparazzi almost having his. But now he does not have Reincarnation. So we probably will see PSG.LGD look to make an aggressive play here. As first, they're going to scout out for some wards. And they will find this one now.
Starting to reclaim some of the safety of their jungle, which is, of course, going to be hard to do so without those 2 towers standing up top.
Such a quiet game, though. 4-1 only.
I mean, I feel like
the lowest kill count.
You kind of expected it coming into this match because you know that for both of these teams, there's quite a lot of pressure. There's a lot of people in the stadium watching. And this series, you know, whoever wins this, they're instantly going to crowd favorites, right? This series, who's going to be the one that the local crowd's going to feel most confident in taking them all the way to the finals and all the way towards that Aegis. Whoever comes down top here, that's your answer.
Yep, more than likely. As both teams not really crossing the river too much, just a little bit of fear of doing that. As Ame, he's gotten away with, he's gotten away with murder in this one, right? He's 207 last hits. He has treads, 4 Wraithbands, and his Manta level 14. He's not really been pressured too much from Vici after this early game where they got a good amount of map control. They haven't been able to find him. That being said, though, Paparazzi, of course, is matching that farm, even ahead of that. Very, very close one here. Golden XP pretty much 0.
Runes are up in 30 seconds. We may see a little bit of bloodshed around there.
PSG.LGD, they do have their blink and they have a full Crimson Guard finished on Chalice. That could be a pretty big timing for them to go look for plays. Surprising he didn't go for the pipe first. I guess he just wanted to have his own tank ability for himself versus just the right clicks. But yeah, they're versus that Lesh, so that pipe definitely going to be really important for him to protect his allies. Of course, the BKBs, the next big timings, PSG.LGD. They're able to get those online. It's going to be pretty critical for them versus Vici's draft, who they have a Lesh. So once the BKB is online, Lesh's damage potential just gets chunked down quite heavily.
A scan from Radiant.
So we have just 2 for... 2 was down the bounty runes by the looks of it.
She's setting up here. We'll be able to find Somnus up top. Yeah, continue the farm game.
4 to 1, 20 minutes. Oh! Bit of action down here. The snakes are out. Dampy's there, breaks over, they'll turn, and the snakes will be dropped for nothing. PSG.LGD able to turn, X-Nova's able to get himself that second stack on the finger buff this game. Lane Paparazzi also gets his reincarnate popped.
Quick reflection with that Radiance, burning him down on top of just a lift and a quick stun. Vici. I feel like they want to they want to start putting a little bit more pressure on. Like we said, PSG.LGD, right now this is them kind of just buying time, waiting till they get those BKBs. When they have them,
they just want to fight.
They're going to look to just fight and run at Vici afterwards. So Vici...
are they going to want to fight?
When they have BKB, I do think so.
Yeah, well, you think they should.
Versus Leshrac, I'd imagine that they would be running at them and fighting when they have the BKBs, but we'll see if that's the case. But yeah, they're very comfortable just farming. But yeah, double BKB timing is going to be very big for PSG. As on the side of Vici, they don't have that big timing that can be the same. Sure, they're building the Crimson Guard as well in the Abaddon, but theirs isn't this big. Like, they can't get their own BKBs, and it's that impactful. It's going to be impactful, of course, versus the Kunkka combos as well as the Centaur, but Kunkka, hard physical damage. Same thing with Terrorblade. Vici, they don't have that same physical damage coming out on their side to pierce through those BKB. Nice little skeletons. Gold. Yeah, quite the farm game.
All about that farm. These boys, they don't want to make mistakes, and so those early deaths really only being those sort of in the lanes in the first few minutes. Sure, we did see that one pick off down bottom. Most of the time since that laning phase, everyone's been keeping it safe. Nobody's messing up. Everyone's hitting their timings, and the difference between these teams is incredibly minimal. Just a 1 lead for Vici Gaming, but Vici Gaming, they do have the majority of towers taken in comparison. You look over towards LGD, they've taken 2 tier 1s. Ooh. I don't know, I don't quite know how he did not find him there. I mean, X-Nova.
X-Nova's still like, he's gone, right?
Is he gone?
He's gone, right?
He's gone. He's safe to move again. With that TP out, Vici Gaming will group up. Now look to go for that smoke. I think, as you said, they are very aware of the BKBs. They want to try and strike before them, but is that BKB done on Ame?
They're both pretty much done.
Yeah.
Somnus is 200 gold away from his as well. So
let's see how they can
bounce
up. Ame, they're going to get the instant hex. Paparazzi going to get the jump forward. Can they intercept them down without the chance of BKB with the BKB? Ame fighting, ready to turn. The bottom down onto the 3 of them. They've taken out the Shaman. Chalice is focusing down D1 at the back. He's going to stop channeling. There's a Paparazzi's trying for Ame. Ame will fall. They get the big kill onto the Terrorblade. Can Vici Gaming get more? Sideline wraparound from X-Nova. Catches out Ori on his attempt to escape. They'll chase forward for Chalice. Chalice, he's out of spells to use. Hexed up by Fade. Paparazzi on top of him. The Athletic Shield explodes. They find a second. Still looking for more Vici Gaming. They know that this is their time to pounce. Shackles out from Fade. Puts his hands up as well. Paparazzi's in. They're on top of Somnus. He's tanky. Have they got enough control? Hex is out. Into the red fire blast. The shield's going to pop as well. Bringing him over. The BKB's delivered. He's ready to turn. Tidebringer hit. Cuts down Fade on the back lines. drag back control, boat back online. A big combo gets dropped down onto Paparazzi, but he's into the trees. Heals there from DY, and Paparazzi will be able to back off. Somnus, he does go for the ace mark, but he's a little low on mana, so both teams will back off and reset. Gold, as you can see, favoring LGD in that scenario.
Yeah, paid with a dieback there. Look at the damage done. 12,891 to 15,000. Crazy amount of damage done in the fight there. Ame got to give it separated from his team, but we saw Vici. I thought they were actually going to lose everybody there.
I thought it was going to get a lot worse for the Radiant.
Yeah, they danced really nicely around the spells of LGD. They kited around Chalice as well when he jumped in forward. And then a couple missed spells there from PSG.LGD. A couple missed Tidebringers as well from Somnus, trying to line up those cleaves. They didn't want to get in too close because they didn't want to get chain stunned. But yeah, Vici, I think that they're... Obviously, LGD, they come out ahead of that one, but it could have been way worse, like you said, for Vici. Because that double BKB timing that did come out from LGD, and PSG.LGD immediately, they're smoked up again looking for a fight, even though they don't have their meta available for about 40 seconds. The other four are ready.
I mean, they know that they're strong with those BKBs. Especially when the Golem's not ready to drop.
Yang.
They want to find something. Yang's got the borrowed time ready.
Far up though.
See the jump from Chalice, trying to look for the backline is behind Jang. Now the ult comes out from Abaddon. They're starting to retreat. Somnus popping the BKB to commit for this fight. Stampede juice as well, allowing PSG.LGD to surround themselves around the Abaddon. They'll get Yang. The rest of them already on the way out. X-Nova, seeing if he finds the set up. Beautiful stun there from X-Nova from the low ground, as he'll be able to set up for a second catch. So LGD continuing to just come out on top with these small little skirmishes. These little pokes, they're able to use the BKBs, chase down Vici Gaming, and it's very hard for Vici Gaming to stand their ground and turn.
Yeah, especially when Chaotic Offering isn't up. The team for Vici is not there because of how squishy they are too, and if there's no Chaotic Offering, they have no counter initiation to kind of run away. That's why we saw PSG.LGD smoke up and go for those bounty runes. Yang, he wanted to assert that dominance, but maybe just a little bit too far that time when his team is not ready to fight. His Midas is up during his death, so.
A little efficiency down the pan for Yang.
Yeah. More space for Ame. For PSG.LGD to continue farming up. These timings, these double BKBs, yeah, like we said, very big problems. Vici, their next ones aren't going to be nearly as impactful.
Oh, no.
I mean, they're getting close to theirs on the lash, but like we said, they don't have the same type of method as LGD, just deal that straight physical damage to bring down a target. And Ame, he is really the strongest. He can become the strongest one in this game if he sits in the back lines.
And it's, I mean, sure, once the AC's done on Paparazzi, then at least him and Yang can start to try and right-click down the heroes, but the cores, this Sensor, this Kunkka, Terrorblade, these aren't heroes that died to a few right-clicks early on.
Pretty crazy, I wish.
They've got a lot of HP, a lot of damage resistance. Crimson Guard, of course, from Chalice is also going to cause issues for Vici Gaming to try and get damage in around the BKBs. It's hard for Vici Gaming to fight, and yeah. I think they've sort of started to realize that off the back of the last two plays, and they're asking themselves, what have we got to do? Their best hope is to catch LGD out in a situation where LGD's not going to have the full squad.
They have to get a good Fatal Bonds as well, but that BKBs will always be the problem. It's actually, I was going to say, it's pretty crazy. I'm looking at items from both teams, and we have like mirrored items coming out. We have like the Crimson Guard and the Abad, and we have the Radiance into the AC onto the Kunkka, which is also built by Paparazzi. So they're both kind of going for like the same exact item builds on both sides on each heroes.
Radiant's middle tower is under
PSG.LGD looking to fight. They're feeling a big power spike coming in after these last few moments.
I mean, the build-up in this game is quite phenomenal so far. Just only 6-7 at 28 minutes in. I mean, this has to be sort of one of the slowest build-ups in a game we've had so far this TI. Just
Chalice will get used up as they need. First, he's just going to protect himself, holding onto it as long as possible with that Crimson Guard and Pipe, and he'll be able to disengage. PSG.LGD, they just have better forms of initiation as well in the fights too. Vici, they have great ways of counter initiation with that Warlock and also with the Blink Dagger of Paparazzi, but PSG.LGD, they have a very comfortable hold right now. So what, AC was finished, so AC Blink for Paparazzi. And they're looking like they're going to try to use this timing to get themselves to Constant towards and Constant trying to control the map. They're smoked up.
Let's jump. Chalice. She's got to Paparazzi. Stun gets removed by the Aquatic Shield. Paparazzi tries to look to turn. The post comes crashing down towards Fade. As Fade's dragged back into his death. They'll now turn towards Yang. Yang still has the ult at the ready. X-Mark back, but out comes a broad time. Paparazzi's in. But the chain stun comes through. Off pops the BKB. He's trying to bring down X-Nova. Finds one. But the finger's already out there. Pop the reincarnate. DY is Golem punching away at Somnus. Somnus and Chalice, they're so tanky. Ame as well. BKB's out. They cannot kill these cores, Vici Gaming, as they've got to try and get away. They cannot escape. As Chalice's right click brings down DY, and these fights, even though the network's even though some of the items are pretty similar, it just seems like Vici Gaming cannot come out on top. They cannot kill any of PSG.LGD's cores. They just do not have the damage output to match the resistances that they built up on LGD's lineup.
It does feel like Vici, they had to play a little bit faster in that early game to shut down these BKBs. They're proving just to be so problematic every single time. BKB gets popped and they have nothing. They just have nothing to deal with those BKBs when they do come out. Sure, they have the chaotic offering, but as we've seen several times, they just turn and kill the golem.
Yeah.
The Kanko just turns, hits it a couple. Same thing with Ame. It just dies pretty quickly.
It really does, especially when that messes up.
Yeah.
The golem doesn't stand any sort of chance. All it is now is sort of a glorified setup. It's no longer that sort of damage that persists through the fight. It's taken out.
Okay, they're trying to get the road share, and they're doing it pretty fast. There's no meta available for Ame either.
They're heading over. Ame's going to scout it out with the illusion. He's got a full Scud. He's ready to start a walk into the pit. They'll throw down the turret combo. Can anyone get in there to go for the steal? Roshan still being focused by the Serpent Wards.
It's up, people.
It's slowing them all down. Chalice trying to step forward. He's going to have Stampy back up in a second. BKB's popped by Ori as he looks to push LGD away from the pit. Paparazzi getting brought down low. Roshan in his turn to get off. Roshan finally on. Radiant grab it. Ori's going to be able to secure the Aegis. Can they win a fight with the Aegis though? That's the question. They've already killed off Ori the once. Chalice on the side, down by the shackles, will fall. Vici finally able to get a core out of the lineup of LGD. They've lost the Aegis, they've lost the reincarnation. They're going to try and chase. X-Nova's there. Ame is obviously the dream catch. Get the support. Will they get Ames into the trees? TP out. Will be successful. Whew.
That was a scary one there for Vici. If they weren't able to get that Aegis actually picked up there. Trying to, I mean, they took advantage there, right? Their mana was down, trying to make some type of big heads-up play. Even though we don't have chaotic offering or anything like that, we have to try to make something happen because, like you said, the fights were not looking good for them. They needed to have something else extra for themselves. Got a little scary too because I stole Fatal Bonds there toward the end.
As we can see, I mean, it was so close to maybe going the way of LGD, that Roshan. Chalice so close to the pit and being able to make a move, but Ori, good commitment with the BKB. Forces the majority of LGD away from that pit so they can get back in, make sure they grab it. Stuns out from Ori, I believe, onto Chalice just as the Roshan falls, so no chance for Chalice to try and go for the pickup steal. And it's a little bit of light, a little bit of promise there from their lineup.
Absolutely.
Being able to kill off Chalice. They do have to expend the Aegis for it, so now there's no Aegis to really make a play around with. It does bump them up a little bit in gold advantage. 2k lead now. Dota Plus still feeling confident with the lineup of Vici Gaming, despite what really does seem to be this fall with their sort of heroes in the head-to-head matchups down the line. As even with that Roach, even with killing off Chalice, it doesn't seem like the game's going to get any easier for Vici Gaming. If anything, it just looks like it's going to continue to get harder. Ame's just continuing to grow.
The one thing they will have in favor, though, is that these BKBs were picked up very early. So those BKBs will tick down to the 5 seconds pretty soon. It's a 6-second one already on Somnus, and I believe a 7-second one on Ame. So that's one thing they do at least have that can start to turn inside those fights if they are very heavy magic damage focused. And now an item that I think is really important is Yang having a Lotus Orb. Because I saw in a couple of these fights, he doesn't want to shield himself all the time. He wants to be protecting people. And every time a reflection gets popped, he actually just gets silenced. His own illusion just keeps beating on him, and then he gets silenced for the majority of the fight. So having this extra tool to remove that is going to be important for him.
Trying to have a bit of a poke on Yang, see if they can bring down some blocks. In fact, the wraparound down the back, they managed to get the jump onto Ori, but the turnaround comes through Fade. Has the shackles onto Chalice, separated from the rest of the team. X-Nova offers up a stun, and they'll allow Chalice to get away with the Stampede. BKB's out from Vici Gaming, but Ame steps straight to the back with the middle resist, takes out Fade. That comes out from Fade. They want to try and turn this Vici Gaming, but with the borrowed time already used, Yang falls. The tier 2 is taken.
The way they took the fight, they saw the Glimmer Cape come out from the Warlock. Ame just cuts into the tree lines there with the Kunkka. They kill DY. DY has to drop a defensive rock on top of himself, and then from there, PSG.LGD has full control of the fight.
They've got a good amount of duration left on the Metamorphosis as well, so they can just walk up to the high ground. Yang is 200 gold short of buyback, so they cannot bring in the full team to offer this any sort of a defense.
That's Rex.
As 34 minutes in, PSG.LGD, they'll walk down the bottom lane. They'll take a very simple, clean melee Rax.
There's just, even inside of the fights too, just looking, there's just so much damage mitigation coming out. You see the bad ensure, we were talking about how he's matching the build of Chalice, having this Crimson Guard and all that, but between Crimson Guard, Pipe, and the Rum, I'm seeing heroes on the side of PSG.LGD just get tickled.
They just don't take any damage.
Wraith King is hitting the Centaur and it's doing like 100 damage, maybe something like that per hit maximum.
Invisibility.
They're just really tanking up a bit too much here. Still only a 2k gold advantage. This is astonishing. They're able to keep this gold like this for Vici. I mean, the skeletons in particular, of course, Paparazzi getting a lot of that farm, but they're keeping it very close here, even though the fights are, we're seeing them pretty dominant for PSG.LGD.
Well, that's the thing, you know, the kills are close, the gold is close. I think if anything, at the moment, it just feels testament to the drafting of PSG.LGD being incredibly strong here in this first game. Their lineup just seems so robust and hard for Vici Gaming to do anything about. They've got all the answers, they've got all the items.
Yeah, Ori just can't deal the amount of damage that, like, Ori can't do damage in the fights. He just runs in, he pops his stuff, but he's also at risk of dying because, like we said, such high physical damage that comes out from PSG.LGD. So he's got all this armor items now too, but he's still only 1900 HP.
And off the back of these objectives, and time being given, FYs, just 200 gold away from having Aghanims on Rubik, so you can expect these fights to continue very thick and fast. The amount of spells FY is going to be able to get out.
Yeah, he's got in, I mean, he's been stealing shield quite a bit here. He's also taken a couple stuns from the last strike in some of the fights. Nothing like super flashy in this one so far here, but he's been just doing his job of sitting behind, getting decent spells to at least protect people.
Very sort of slow, safe performance from both teams so far, but the meticulousness that LGD's brought to this game just seems that a little bit more safe and sort of able to fall back on this lineup. Arme, Butterfly's done. Another fight won by PSG.LGD could easily set up for a quick tier 2 and a tier 3 to fall. Vici Gaming, you got to wonder how the discussion's sort of going down in the booth. What is the plan? What are they building towards? What is the move that they're looking to make? Is it sort of just a hope that an overextension comes out from PSG.LGD? Is it a case of waiting, trying to continue to poke these BKB charges out of them, try and get them to use Metamorphosis in a defensive position, fight when it's not up? How do you tackle this game that seemingly is close, but at the same time feels so hard for Radiant?
It's just so hard for them to get any type of like great engagement where they can actually just lock someone down and chain lock them down, because Stampede gets popped and they'll just kind of run away and disengage or get on top of the heroes that they want to. So LGD just has a much easier way of choosing the fights they want to take and how they want to take them every single time. Even though there is, of course, those counter initiations coming out, she still just can't take the same type of fights on their own accord. PSG.LGD just gets on top of the heroes that they want to. Quickly blow them up.
Paparazzi trying to amp up that damage. Bloodthorn's what he's hoping for. It'll take him a fair bit of time, or Shiva's Guard gold is nearly there, but the speed that LGD push, you've got to imagine that Vici Gaming is going to be holding on to those buybacks. Smoke on smoke. Vici Gaming trying to enter LGD's jungle. LGD sort of a step ahead. They'll be the ones to first sweep over to the Radiant side. A scan will come out, won't connect on to anybody, so PSG.LGD will know they're not going to find any kills. They'll start to take the shrines, continue to clean up gold off the map. Ori will be spotted in the river.
They've got the high ground here.
They do. This is a bit of an awkward fight for Vici Gaming, despite it being on their half of the map, but they try and look for it. Keeping themselves away for now. Ori just trying to shove out the middle lane. But that top wave is pushed round, and Vici Gaming look to lose this top tier 2 tower.
I mean,
the pushing speed is there. There's no reason for LGD to stop. He's hit 25 on Kunkka. He's got the Tidebringer.
Oh, God.
He's ready to just smash through these creep waves, smash through these buildings. It's another tower down. Vici Gaming unable to get stuck in at all.
And he's even restolen the shield as well, so Fatal Bonds comes out, he just shields it off his teammates, and he's just gonna keep able to do that every single time they try to throw out any type of lockdowns or stuns on them. So immediately they force rotations back, and they're just gonna back up. They're happy with that. They forced.
See if they scout out Rogue has just respawned. Could very much be the ticket that allows PSG.LGD to potentially even just close this game down.
Yeah, they've got a gem, so they're clearing out that vision around outside the pit. They've got high ground vision to keep tags of when Vici does come outside. And Ame already starts to walk toward them. They see DY trying to D-ward. They don't want him to.
That's the one threat that they want to get out of the fight. Make sure there's no golem. There'll be a fight coming out for DY immediately as the fight will continue. Yang is the focus for now, starting to stand himself in between himself and Ori, making sure Ori can get out the ward to drop, but Xnova is able to force himself out. The Serpent wards are pretty much doing nothing at all. Xnova able to turn with the stun on a Paparazzi. BKB now popped over in Fade, making him go straight towards the squishier kills. They'll get Xnova. He also having buyback ready, turns straight back towards the fight. They'll get towards F5. They've killed the two support. Now can they get the core? Ame, BKB's pop, Metamorphosis is out. This is where the difficulty gets stepped up for Vici Gaming. Can they deal with this Terrorblade? Glimmercade buys DY some sort of safety. Yang turning towards them, looking to push them back. The Fatal Bond still upon the four of them. Torrent onto the two. PSG.LGD starting to back up. This will be a huge kill if Vici Gaming can find it. The stone control, it's there. The shackles, they've found it. They'll take Ame down. Vici Gaming finding the big bounty.
An instant buyback from Ame. He wants to keep bringing the fight to them. Even FY bought back and Xnova to try to join over there. How many buybacks total was this? Like 6? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, 5 total buybacks coming out in this game. As Vici, they punch back on top of their shrine there, and Rosh is available.
It is.
Paparazzi.
Is anyone going to die back? That's the question. This could be a turning point in the game. Ame has to be careful.
There's no meta for 68 seconds. BKBs are at the ready.
You've got to push for this Vici Gaming. You know that this game is a rough one. It's a tough one. You've got to take anything that gets given to you. They have this timing. They're looking for Roche. PSG.LGD will be sure to try and contest it. They'll step in. Stun down onto Chalice. They're surrounded. BKB caught by Paparazzi. He locks down the both side, but the Chalice has the good control. With the scamping pop, he looks to try and chase down Ori. Ori's going to be the focus. Glimmercade for DY keeps Ori safe. They turn. Stuns down. Chalice is getting control. And it's all enough. She'll find himself out, but it's not enough. Chalice falls. Back comes out. Enemy's hit by both Ori and Yang. As the two cores will force Vici Gaming. Paparazzi as well. Dies the one. Is on top of the Paparazzi gets the blink out off the back of the reincarnate. Sentry water walk in the vision to the why they turn back in. Challenge him with a shot. They've got the Paparazzi dead without buyback available. Xnova's got the lockdown on the side to finish off Fade as well. As Vici Gaming, they took their chances. They tried for the Roshan, but they now will start to fall like flies. As there's no buyback for Yang, no buyback for Paparazzi. PSG.LGD know it's time to move straight towards base, and GG X-Core, this one's over.
That was some team fights coming out from LGD, just knowing how powerful they are and how they win the fights every single time. This is so crucial to me. I know Somnis had this amazing game on the Kunkka, just getting these Content Cleaves. His damage is going to be probably through the roof on the Kunkka, but just being able to pick and choose the battles every single time.
I mean, absolutely.
They always found the right targets that they wanted to go for in the fights. DY was struggling so hard to find positioning.
This is sort of the terrifying PSG.LGD that you expect to see here in the upper bracket. No messing around, no mistakes to be made, no overextensions. Knowing the exact limits of their heroes, they draft